Stop what you're doing right now, pause this video, and in the comments section, tell me what's in your pockets right now. Some people think that your EDC needs to change based on the environment that you're in. But in my opinion, it really doesn't, because you're gonna need to fulfill all the basic human requirements with the tools that you have on your body, regardless of where you are, whether it be in an urban environment like this, where I'm tucked away underneath a bridge, next to a really large city, or if you're in the wilderness somewhere, you're still going to need the basics on your person. So on my body right now, I am wearing very casual clothes. I've got the basics in my pockets. I've got a way to reliably start fire. A Bic lighter wrapped up some duct tape, so I can light that duct tape on fire and I can help get myself some heat if I should need it. What are some reasons that you can think of why you would need a lighter in an urban environment? In the wilderness, it's pretty obvious. You might need to stave off hypothermia. You might need to get yourself an actual fire going, a big fire, so you can stay warm. But in an urban environment, the requirements for ignition may not be so obvious. Maybe it's just strictly utilitarian and I'm trying to burn off some frayed ends on a pack or something like that, or on my clothes so it doesn't continue to fray. But I think having a ignition source is always going to be important. Next up is a flashlight. Flashlight is a super handy thing. I mean, without a flashlight in the darkness, it makes life really, really challenging, very, very tough. And I didn't used to carry a flashlight with me all the time, and then I did, and now I find myself using it all the time. It is just a really, really handy thing to have, especially in urban environments. The inside of buildings without electricity is a dark, dark, cavernous place. And having a way to illuminate that building is really handy. Signaling, I could use this to signal somebody from far distances away. Having spare batteries would be a good idea. I don't have any spare batteries on my person, but I am pretty good about making sure that I rotate through the batteries in my EDC flashlight. And by the way, this is an O-light. It is a brass O-light. The model is, see if I can still read it. I've had this one in my pocket for a long time. It is the i3T EOS. i3T EOS. I don't know if they still make this brass one. It's a little bit heavy, but I just like it. Next in my pockets is just gonna be a neck gaiter. This one's from TRC Outdoors, and this is always in my pocket. I've taken to carrying it in my front pocket now, because that way I have room in my back pocket for my phone, and it just slips in and out easier without this in there. But I keep this in my pocket, used for all sorts of things: improvised bandage, taking hot stuff out of a fire, putting it around your head and neck in case you're starting to get a little bit sunburned like I might possibly be today. It's been wintertime where I live, and this sun down here in Florida is a little bit intense. So if I'm out riding around, I can use this to protect my face and the back of my neck from getting sunburned. So it's a pretty handy piece of kit. If it's really hot, I've used it to dip in the water and then put it around my neck, and it's like wearing an air conditioner. It's really nice. In my back pocket, I've got some cash money, because cash still works, believe it or not. You can use cash pretty much everywhere. Well, not everywhere, I guess. These days, a lot of places are not accepting cash. But still, if credit card machines should be down for whatever reason, you've got cash money, and it just saves the day. If something should happen to your bank account and it's just locked your account for some reason, there's been suspicious activity and they've shut things down, which has happened to me before, and your card is not working, you can still pay your way out of problems with cash. And then I've just got my basic wallet here, my handmade leather wallet with credit cards, IDs, just the basics. I don't like to carry a bunch of crap around in my pocket that I don't need. On my hip, I carry my fixed blade knife. I carry this almost every day, not every single day, but just about. And it is my everyday carry on 3 EDC from Bear Forest Knives. I like to have a fixed blade knife. I just trust them more than any of the folders. Inside my waistband, I carry a G43. It's very small, very compact, and I have a spare extra mag for it as well. I like carrying it appendix style because it's the easiest to access, and it is definitely the most concealable. Even in just a t-shirt like this, it's really hard to tell that I've got it going on. But I've got that there in case we need it. Heaven forbid we actually need it. So my belt itself is my survival kit, right? It's a Wazoo cash belt, and I've been wearing this one for a long time now. I don't dig into it that often. It's just kind of backups to the stuff that I keep in my pockets for the most part anyway. There's some really handy things in there, like zip ties and fire starters and water purification kits, which I have used several times. Brass wire, which again I've also used as well to fix a fuse. I had a blown fuse on a motorcycle. I've dipped into my belt, got a piece of that brass wire to jump that fuse, and that worked really well and saved the day. It's got a little flashlight in here. If the batteries were to go dead on my primary flashlight that I keep in my pocket, I have a small little flashlight right here. And like I said, this flashlight's probably been in there for like 2 years. I've only used it a couple times, but it's still ready to go whenever I should need it. And that is really handy. But anyway, there's a lot of items in here. This thing is just super handy, and it's just basically an insurance policy. I've got this on me. If I've got pants on, I'm wearing a belt. If I've got my belt, I've got the things that I should need. I actually flew to Colorado one time with only my belt and my hat. That was the only supplies that I needed, and I survived for 48 hours in the Colorado Rocky Mountains during the wintertime, using just those supplies that's in there. So it is a really handy thing. If you're interested in the Wazoo gear, which you should be interested in the Wazoo gear, there is a discount code in the description and in the comment section. So just in case you are curious about what's in the belt, there is a signal mirror right here, a bottle opener just on the buckle itself, which is pretty cool. And then when we crack into here, I've got duct tape. So there's a small ceramic blade in there that's also the striker for the small ferro rod, so I can get myself a fire no matter what. There's a few feet of duct tape right here that's ready to go if I should need it, and I've also used that several times. I've had a flat on my motorcycle before, and I used that as the protector where the spokes come into the wheel, and it'll rub your tube if you don't have something covering those spokes. So I use that tape right there to cover that up, protect the tube. Yeah. Look how dusty and dirty it is. Like I said, I've been carrying this for several years now and dipped into it on occasion, but I don't really do much maintenance to it. It's really dirty. But anyway, there's my small little flashlight, which is really handy, and I've used that quite a few times. If the battery should go dead on my primary flashlight, I've got a backup. I've got a signaling whistle right there that's really loud. I've got some brass wire that I've also used on several occasions. Drop it in the sand. This is, I believe it's 50-pound test. Don't quote me on that. I forget what pound test it is, but 40 feet of fishing line right there, along with fishing hooks, sinkers, lead split shot, and some sewing needles, a couple sewing needles, and a safety pin. Here is a fire plug. This thing is 100% waterproof. Really nice to get a fire going with that right there. You just crack it open, fray it up a little bit, and then get it going with that ferro rod. Normally, in this section right here, that's where I keep my water kit, but I've used it not too long ago and I have not replaced it yet. So it'd be a water bag and several water purification tablets. This is Technora cordage right here, and it is very strong, 400-pound test cordage right there, and it's very small diameter. So really good stuff right there. I do have the tablets in here. I've got extra tablets, so I could use just any water bottle and put these water purification tablets in there. And then I've got a small button compass right there that's very reliable. This is my EDC pack. It's just a simple cinch pack from P&W Bushcraft. There's also a link in the comment section and description for this one as well. But really handy. I can just throw in the stuff that I need for the day, or pick up things along the way. And if you're talking about an urban environment, and let's say it was some sort of survival scenario, there's garbage and trash everywhere that you could possibly utilize for whatever. There's spare fishing line around here. There's bottles that I could use for a hand line, right? I can pick up a plastic bottle like that, wrap some scrap fishing line, and I know I can find a hook or two around here, and I could be fishing in just a few minutes. So in this pack is not stuff that I necessarily carry every single day, but it's stuff that I would carry on a regular basis, and if I'm out wandering a more urban area, I might throw in my pack. So I like to fish, and I've got a really simple hand line fishing system right here from Crystal Creek Gear. Really cool little fishing system. I've got my small grail here that I can take to filter any fresh water that I can find. Salt water, it will not work on salt water. It won't turn it into fresh water, but If you're in an urban area, you can pull water from a fountain and get yourself a drink. Spare water bottle, full, ready to go. A rat's tourniquet. A lot of people hate the rat's tourniquet because it's not TCCC approved. However, I have used these and I have practiced with them and successfully stopped blood flow to limbs, appendages with this right here, and it does work, and it's really easy and lightweight, easy to carry. It's a whole lot better than having nothing. If you were bleeding out, you'd be pretty happy if I came along carrying this. And it does really work quite well on small little arms, like on my daughter that has, her arms are about this big around, and this thing can get down to the smallest limb that you can imagine. And pets. It also works on dogs. Got a couple of hanks of paracord in my pack. I don't necessarily always carry this with me, but man, it sure is handy. We're riding bikes. And if I wanted to strap something to the rack on my bike or something like that, this would be pretty nice to have. Tools, especially when you're talking about being on bikes and things of that nature, having some tools is really nice. A Leatherman like this, Leatherman Wave Plus, this is the one that I've been carrying for a long time. I've gotten away from carrying it in my pocket just because it's heavy and big. It is so handy though. It's hard for me to go without it. That's why I like to have it pretty close by in my pack or my truck, but it's a really, really good Leatherman. And then this is just a specific toolkit for the bike that I'm riding with these tools right here. These, I guess it's 5 tools. I can disassemble and reassemble pretty much the entire bike. And then of course, some snacks.